Today we're just talking U.S. soccer, and this is something I've wanted to do for a while and dedicate actually a very long frank look at, and there may even be more frank look ats dedicated to soccer, maybe a lot going forward because this is actually a passion of mine. Um, Kind of how the frank look ats work is I kind of just talk about what I've been doing throughout the day. I don't care if people watch or not. It's kind of just been something to help me just get through this interesting point in my life. But now we're on to something that I'm very interested in. That is U.S. soccer. Um, my history with U.S. soccer, I've been a fan pretty much all soccer. Um, Played soccer growing up. Stopped at a young age, but I always still liked it. Watched all the World Cups that I can remember. I've been a Tottenham Hotspur fan ever since Clint Dempsey played at Tottenham. But I'm a U.S. fan first and foremost. And I do really want to talk about this World Cup and how it ended for the United States and what's going to happen going forward for the United States. But first, I feel like it's very important to talk about kind of like my history with U.S. soccer. Um, I'm 27, so I was born in 1998. I'm about to turn 28 within a month. But I don't remember the 2002 World Cup when they made the quarterfinals and actually won in the round of 16. Um, in 2006, I vaguely remember them losing in the group stage. But 2010 on, I remember every World Cup they've been in. I remember every round of 16. I remember them losing to Ghana. I remember them losing to Belgium in 2014. I remember them not qualifying in 2018. And I remember them losing to the Netherlands in 2022. And we're going to talk about all those matchups as well as them not qualifying to 2017 for the 2018 World Cup because it all builds off each other. But I think the biggest issue I have right now with the mentality, and we're going to talk a lot about the mentality, and I think another big issue is this is, in my opinion, the most pathetic loss they've had in a knockout game of the World Cup. And it's up there with their them getting eliminated in the group stage of Copa America a few years ago. The mentality of a lot of these players is weak. And we're going to talk about that, but what this loss did for me is me question a lot of like how strong are these guys when they actually play a team that on paper is better than them. I think they've gotten past the stage of like being worried about losing to teams that are on paper worse than them, like the Panamas of the world, or like even the Paraguays, Australias, and Bosnians of the world. They know they're better and they beat, but know they could beat them. This team that nothing has changed in the past, I would say, 10 years. I would say about 8 years is what happens when you get punched in the mouth. When they played in the 2010 World Cup and lost to Ghana in the round of 16, that was a very easy match. They actually went down in that matchup. I think it was Asamo Ajians scored a goal like very early on in the game, and then we came back and tied it for a Landon Donovan penalty kick. Then it was a very back and forth battle where Ghana just ended up being the better team. But it's just one of those things. Just like, okay, they make a few mistakes, the other team wins the game. 2014, Belgium, way better team than the Belgium we just faced today. And they were dominating us, and we had chances to win the game. We just couldn't capitalize. Belgium scores 2 goals in extra time. You think the game is all over. We get a lucky Julian Green goal. And then we had like 3 other chances to tie that game before the 120th minute. And we could have. But they went down swinging. And that tournament, the 2014 tournament, was actually when I became a really, really, really big like soccer fan. And I started following the national team closely and not just watching whenever I was like, oh crap, they're on TV. I created a Twitter that was solely dedicated to the national team, following all that stuff. I followed them in 2015, 2016 when they made the Copa America, made it all the way to the semifinals where they got smacked by Argentina, I think. Yeah, they got smacked by Argentina. And then I even convinced my dad, he's like, hey, let's try and go like to USA games. We went one in 2015 where they lost to Mexico at the Rose Bowl. Which was an amazing game, by the way. I think it went to time as well. I think they lost 3-2. Amazing game. And then we went to a World Cup qualifier for the 2018 cycle where the U.S. beat Honduras. But But then even I kind of fell out of love after the 2018 cycle where the US qualified for the World Cup. And it took me about until probably COVID to get back into like US soccer, and I did because I was still following Tottenham, but US soccer is like I'm not feeling the vibes. And I slowly got my way back in, slowly started watching like all these YouTubers who were making all this stuff about US soccer. And it got me interested in like, hey, this is really cool. I actually really like what they're doing here. And it made me very passionate about US soccer again. We go through the 2022 World Cup. We're not the best team. We're in a group of England, Iran, and Wales. Okay, we finished second. We lose to the Dutch. We expected, but we're kind of back where we were back in 2014. And then we go into this cycle of the we keep Greg Berhalter around, who I'm not going to blame for at all in this video, but I do think he brought a weak mentality into the United States team that a lot of these players had. The United States is horrible in Copa America, and Greg gets fired, and the United States hire Mauricio Pochettino, who I am very familiar with as a Tottenham fan. I adore Pochettino, and he kind of changed the mentality. And going to this World Cup, I know there's a lot of people who were like concerned about Pochettino and like how we were playing because we just got smacked in a bunch of friendlies. And in June, the June friendlies against Senegal and Germany, we played a lot better. Kind of found like what we wanted to do. Then the World Cup starts, and on paper, we play like better than Paraguay. We dominate Paraguay, and we beat Australia as well. And then the Turkey A game, kind of whatever game. We're already through. They're already eliminated. Who cares? The Bosnia game. The Bosnia game, you probably have a lot of new people. It's a knockout game or tuning in United States game. And this is one of those things that, like, good thing. And I will never say it's a bad thing, but you get a lot of people who don't know a lot about soccer, but it's a chance to learn. But then Balogun gets the red card, and we find out yesterday, the day before the USA-Belgium game, okay, FIFA's overturned the red card. Not overturned, suspended the suspension of the red card till after the World Cup. This using, you never see this before, and this is me as like a soccer fan. I'm like, oh, this isn't good. I was like, I guarantee, like, it's all political now. And like, I kind of had to talk to my brother about it, just be like, hey, you know, it's just like, kind of just got to move on about it and just okay with the situation at hand, where some things are gonna go like some things are gonna go away. It's a corrupt organization. You kind of just got to deal with it. And then I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna support the U.S. Balogun's gonna play, whatever. But I see a lot of people who are just like, and the thing that gets me is not that like not that like these new American casual fans are trying to, you know, learn the game and be involved in the game. And you know, I think there's a lot wrong with FIFA's process as well. And a lot of Americans made a good point. Is like, how is there not a review process for red cards? And I think that's very important. Like, there's not a review process for red cards. When I really think there should be a review process for red cards. And you know, Trump had talked to Infantino about it, and it's all whatever. We play Belgium, we lose against Belgium, and I actually think I saw some stuff about Balogun. Oh, it's a good thing he did. Like, he, you know, he respected the decision, didn't show up. I thought Balogun was actually one of our best players. He was trying to make stuff happen. Him, Tillman. I'm gonna talk about all the players for the entirety of the World Cup in a quick. This is gonna be a long video, and I'm gonna talk. There's gonna be more I'm gonna talk about at the end, but it got a lot of people involved in the sport who maybe haven't been a soccer fan. I've called soccer a pussy sport, or a gay sport, or just a European sport. It's really one of the best sports ever. Like, look at the England game. Look at the England-Mexico game the other day. Look at the Cape Verde-Argentina game. It's an amazing sport where amazing things could happen in the sport. And I think a lot of people were excited for this USA game. My ex Twitter feed was so full of people who I've never seen before. It was just to recommend stuff. Talking about the game for good or for worse. How about this game today? And I feel like because of how this game went, a lot of people are no longer going to be interested in the game of soccer for a few years. And maybe by the time the 2030 World Cup rolls around, they'll be like, I saw the 2026 World Cup. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in the World Cup. I don't think it's necessary for me to watch it, I know how this is going to go for the United States. And this is the game, I think, beyond any other game that we've had in the history of the United States, mainly because it's at home. Even the quarterfinal game against Germany that the United States lost, I don't know what time it started at, but it was probably really early in the morning, like a 3 a.m. start time. Wherever on the, maybe like on the East Coast 3 a.m. so like midnight on the West Coast. I don't know, but it was probably really early in the morning. Probably not many Americans knew that they had a chance to advance to the semifinals. And me growing up is just like the first like big soccer memory I have that involved the United States was the Lennon Donovan goal against Algeria, where I think like where I remember I didn't get to watch that game in the morning, but I remember watching Sports Center, and it was like mainstream U.S. like soccer news. Like never get that. Like you always get the World Cup stuff, but they spent like over an hour talking about it, and then like another 40 minutes talking about who they would face, because I think we found out the group who play would be like would finish that day, or maybe I just finished. Like we're playing Ghana or Germany. Like I can't remember which, but I remember hearing like, oh, we're playing Ghana or Germany. I remember spent so much time talking about it, and then 2014 World Cup happens, and I think very successful in like improving like the state of U.S. soccer. Finished second in a tough group of Germany, Portugal, and Ghana, and they fought valiantly against Belgium, and like people are like the U.S. soccer stock is on the rise, and it's becoming more and more popular. And even in Copa America in 2016, well, they lose the semifinal to Argentina. About that. Then the 2018 World Cup qualifiers, kind of like it. United States soccer loses a lot of its stuff, and it's in the mainstream media for the wrong reason. And now, 8 years down the line, 2026, we had a chance to do something good at the World Cup stage again, and we don't do it. We really just we don't do it. Like we score the most goals we've ever scored in a World Cup. We win the most games we ever win in a World Cup. We win a knockout game, but the round of 32's never existed before. At the end of the day, we end at the same stage from where we've ended so many prior World Cups. And the biggest difference for me is not the fact that we lost. It's the fact that the mentality of getting punched in the mouth is no different than it was 8 years ago. Which is sad, because the team that made the quarterfinals in 2002 wanted all the smoke against Mexico in the round of 16 and went toe-to-toe against Germany in the quarterfinals and didn't back down. The team in 2010 went toe-to-toe against Ghana and back it down. The team in 2014 toe-to-toe against Belgium and didn't back down and could have came back from 2-0 in that game. And then in 2020, but then after that, I feel like the mentality has changed, where if we get punched in the mouth, we're like, oh shit, we aren't that good. We can't do this. Instead of trying to come back and say, yes, we can. We are the United fucking States of America. We are never going to back down. We're never going to give up all that stupid stuff. Which leads me to what I want to talk about next, which is I need to talk about players roster. Let's do it. I should have had it pulled up already, but we don't. So we'll do that right now. The United States World Cup roster. Let's go down the list. I'm gonna talk about each and every one of them. If it wants to load, if the roster wants to load. Did US Soccer already take it down? We'll just go down the list. Matt Turner, backup goalkeeper at the tournament. I'll be honest. When the tournament first started, I was fine with Freeze being the starting goalkeeper, but I think Matt Turner would have probably been the better keeper for the tournament just because he had the experience. And I can admit when I'm wrong, but I think Turner probably his last World Cup. I think we have better keepers coming in. This is where my U.S. knowledge kind of lacks. I don't know enough about the youth system. I want to get involved more with the youth system. So yeah, I want to get more involved with that. Serginho Dest, horrid. I think horrid. He did fine in the first few games. Horrid games against Bosnia and Belgium, where I think he is too attack focused and it's definitely at fault for the first goal today against Belgium. One of many people at fault for it. He may be also on. Maybe he's not on the way out. 25 right now. He's 25 right now. He's going to turn 26. They have one more cycle in him, but I don't know. Chris Richards, I think, he's got to be our defender going forward. He is our best player on the defensive side. He's a dog. He's the type of guy you do want, and he's a great guy. And he had a good, solid tournament. He's also at fault though for the goal against Belgium today. I don't really have anything negative about him to say. If he wasn't healthy for this tournament, I guarantee we don't finish first in the group, and I guarantee we give up a lot more goals because we only gave up what? We gave up 3 against Turkey. We only gave up 4 goals in 5 games in this. No, that's a lie. Hold on, sorry. We gave up 3. We gave up 7 goals. I mean, it could have been a lot worse, but like it probably would have been worse. We probably gave up more group stage goals. Bosnia may have scored against us. I like Chris Richards. Tyler Adams, also a dog. I love Tyler Adams. He is, in my opinion, one of our best players. This defensive midfielder holding it down. But once again, older guy. One of the older guys on the team. I mean, he's not that old. He's only born in 1999, which I don't make that sound like it old because that's only younger than. But he'll be over 30 for the next World Cup. We need more guys coming in. Anthony Robinson. I am a bit worried about Anthony Robinson for the future. Oh, sorry. I also thought Tyler Adams did everything. He always does his shit during the World. Very defensive minded, and he kind of flies under the radar. But he was as a dog. Jedi Anthony Robinson. He may be on his way out, and I don't want to say that because I do like Anthony Robinson, but his knees are not the most healthiest in the world, and I don't know if we'll have him next World Cup. And I honestly thought as the tournament progressed, he played worse and worse every game. He started off very strong with the friendlies, and I thought he did well against Australia and Paraguay, but like another one that just got worse and worse as the tournament went on. And I have to make this part shorter because I want to keep it under 30 minutes. Austin Trusty didn't play a lot. I think he played against Turkey. I don't know if we'll see him again. Maybe we'll see how he does. He plays for Celtic, so we'll see how he does going forward. Didn't play all that much, so I don't really have much to say. Gio Reyna. I thought this game against Belgium was Reyna's best game of the tournament. I know he scored a goal against Paraguay in the last second, but like he was at least trying to make things happen in this game. And I thought him coming in, we actually looked better on the ball. His biggest issue, and if we'll see him again in the future, because he's still young, he was born in 2002. Is he needs to find a club that actually is going to play him. He's not playing at back. He needs to play at a club. Like, there's nothing wrong playing with a lower league team, like a championship level team. That's like the level you get back your feet at, or even a lower level Bundesliga, or even I don't know why, but I feel like he would thrive in the in La Liga at like a lower, like a mid-table team. I don't know why I think that. I just do. Pretty 50-50 on what I think about Reyna this tournament. Will he be around next cycle? Maybe. McKennie, kind of the same thing as like Tyler Adams, dog. I think you can make an argument he was one of our most important players. I want to say he's our best. I'll get to who I think the best player was this tournament. One of the two. One of them is I think is pretty obvious. Just because he does so much. If he's only like a few weeks younger than me. I hope we have him for one more cycle. He had a good tournament. I think McKennie had a good tournament. Today wasn't the best day for a lot of the players, which I do want to say a lot of the guys just couldn't make the final pass for whatever reason, and usually the pass was just horrible. It wasn't even like a good effort. Ricardo Pepi, horrible tournament. Never really got a chance to shine. I do think we'll have Pepi will be around. He was only born in 2003. He'll be around next cycle. I don't know what was wrong with him this tournament, but he did not look good. I came into the tournament saying I always talk to my dad about soccer because he always wants to he's very big casual and he always wants to bit more, especially during World Cup time. And I was like, for once in our lifetime, or my lifetime, the United States' is not weakest point isn't their strikers, because we have two good backup strikers. If and I thought Pepe was going to play better when he was on. I actually thought he did all right against Bosnia with just holding up the ball. But other than that, he didn't do anything on attack. And then we get to my opinion one of the worst players we had this tournament. Outside of 45 minutes, I thought Christian Pulisic was awful this tournament. I thought he was awful. The game against Belgium today was horrendous. He had 11 first half turnovers. And honestly, he didn't look like he wanted it. Like the biggest critique everyone has of Pulisic, and you know what? I've kind of gone back and forth. Is when he gets punched in the mouth, he doesn't fight back. He's also very injury prone, and he complains a lot. Do I like Pulisic? Yes, but I mean, maybe time to move on from the Captain America moniker that he has, the nickname, because you don't want the face of your national team be someone who can't get hit and can't get back up and go again. So very disappointing tournament. Brendan Aronson didn't really play that much. I like Aronson as well, but he did not go in that much. Will we see him again? I don't know. Born in 2000. Plays for Leeds. He does well for Leeds, but our system right now doesn't really work for him. Will we see him? I don't know. Miles Robinson. I think this will be the last time we ever see Miles Robinson. He was born in 1997, so by the next World Cup, he'll be. He's going to be 30 next year in March. I don't know why he was brought on this one. I don't think he's one of our better defenders. And he kind of showed that against in the game. Unless he has a resurgence, I think we're done seeing him. And then we get to Tim Ream, the captain. Ream had a horrible game today against Belgium. I like Tim Ream. I will always love Tim Ream. I just think other times undefeated, and he just got outclassed today and a lot of other stuff, and he was put in a bad position for that third Belgium goal, which wasn't entirely his fault. It was mostly Matt Freeze's fault. And I think he was a bit at fault for the first. I would have to watch the second goal again, but definitely the first goal again. He just a step too slow against teams that are better than us. He's good against a low block team, teams that play the low block, that like to defend, because he's really good at passing. But you have to, play against teams that are going to attack and have the pace. He's just not that good. And I like Tim Ream. Bummer. Sebastian Berhalter. You know what? I'm going to say this, and there may be people who disagree with me. I hope we continue to see Sebastian Berhalter. He had a pretty 50-50 tournament where I thought he played bad at some points, especially early on, but I thought against Bosnia and then against Belgium today, he was the best, better players. And you know what I respect about him a lot? He does like passion. He will get up. He doesn't care if he gets hit in the mouth. He's going to fight. And he scored that goal to get us down 2-3. Oh my God, that would have been amazing. That goal. I would have lost my shit. It would have been amazing. That goal. I hope he gets a transfer out of the MLS. And I don't have anything against the MLS. I just think as long as the MLS continues on the same path that it's on, then same old story. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't play. Allegedly Vibes guy. I don't think he should be squad. I don't know why he keeps getting called up. He's a great. I think he's probably he's a great guy, but Vibes can only take you so far, and he was also I think since the second game. So I don't really have much to say. I hope we're done with him. As much as I do like him, he's already in his 30s, so I doubt he will be on the way. Alex Freeman, he is only 21. He turns 22 in August. I'm excited for the future of Alex Freeman. He plays for Villarreal. I think the future is bright with him and Richards in the back. I don't think he had the best game today. He did try and make a lot happen, but he was kind of isolated a lot of the time. But I think in the future, I'm excited to see what we have from him. going to be a very good player in the future. Malik Tillman, in my opinion, one of the two players one of the two players that this is their first World Cup that you can be really proud of. He did so well and gave everything for this team and was trying to make anything happen. He scored 2 goals from free kicks this tournament. I can't remember the last time I've seen Americans score the goals from the free kicks. Actually, I do. I was at the game. Josie Altidore scored one at Levi's, but in a World Cup, it was since 1994, and he scored 2. So Malik Tillman, he's 22. No, he's 24. Excuse me. I hope we get at least 2 more World Cups out of Malik. And he's playing. Plays for Bayer Leverkusen. He's playing well. Max Arston, don't really have much to say. He didn't really play that much. Haji Wright, I wish played more. I wish Haji Wright played a lot more. He just was overlooked. Pochettino liked Pepe a lot more. I think Haji Wright's a great player. I think I would have put him in before Pepe against Belgium today. But whatever, it is what it is. I'm not gonna say Pochettino got it wrong, but I felt like Haji Wright should have played more. And now next on the list is a player that had wait, sorry, I skipped 20. Florin Balogun, probably the most talked about USA player in the past 8 hours. Amazing tournament. I imagine he's not gonna play for Monaco next year. I imagine he's gonna get a big transfer move, or if he does play for Monaco, he's gonna look great regardless where he goes. I'm excited he chose the US. I'm happy he chose the US. And at the end of the day, he got Donald Trump to argue for a birthright citizenship guy. Him and Tillman were our best players at this tournament. And gotta be excited for the attacking going forward for future United States. So yeah. Now we move on to a player that I think had a horrendous tournament for how limited he played. Timothy Weah, horrid tournament. I don't know what his position. Like, some people say he's a wing back. Some people say he's a winger. Some people just say he's like a back, like a right back, a full back. I don't know what's going on, but he looked horrible against Turkey and did not play very well. He plays for Marseille. I heard rumors that he may get a transfer, but I don't know. He had a horrid tournament, and we got to see what's going on with him. He's 26, so he's probably got one more World Cup in him. Be 30 for the next one. I was hoping for more from him. He didn't play well. He did not meet my expectations. But we move on. Mark McKenzie, kind of another, didn't really play. I think this is probably the last we'll see of Mark McKenzie. Once again, I'm not against MLS players. I actually like Mark McKenzie. I felt like we brought too many defensive minded players, center backs, whatever. And I felt like he wasn't the right. Him and Robinson were like the big, And I was kind of fine with McKenzie. I was fine with McKenzie, but then I saw the Robinson. It was just like, it didn't make sense to me. One of those things like, why are we bringing all these defensive minded people? Joe Scally. I think Joe Scally is a great player. However, in the system we run right now, which I don't know if it'll change, it doesn't really work for him because he is just straight up. I think he's left back. He's not really much of a wing back. He kind of back and defend. Plays really well for Mönchengladbach, but he didn't work in Poch's system. But I think he's a good person going forward, and I bet if we keep Pochettino, which I personally don't think we will. I'll talk about that in a quick minute. Joe Scally will probably play a bit more in the future. Matt Freese. Going into this tournament, I thought Matt Freese was the goalkeeper that we should start. But as the tournament progressed, and even before the Belgium game, I was regretting thinking about that. Once again, like the player, just I don't think we have a good talent of goalkeepers right now, and I honestly think the future generation of goalkeepers is better. Maybe they just need to be bald. And this is where my lack of youth knowledge isn't there, which I want it to be better, because I remember hearing that we have good keepers coming through, but It wasn't there. We lost. And I think he's one of the reasons we lost. He's the main reason we lost any momentum in the second half. We had all the momentum at the start of the second half, down 1-2, and then he makes a very big, silly mistake that cost us the game. Really much. I'm not saying we would have won, but we'd have had better chances to come back. And it's silly, it's stupid, and I don't know if we'll see Matt Freeze for the United States again. Maybe as like a second or third choice keeper. I don't know. I don't know much about Chris Brady. He didn't really play. He didn't play in this World Cup. He's just the third choice keeper. And Alejandro Zendejas. Part of me thought we shouldn't have brought him. I don't like. Once again, he didn't really play in this World Cup. People maybe said we should have brought Diego Luna instead. So is this one of those other ones where it's like we brought him? He's older than me. He's 28. Not that much older than me, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, will we see him again? I don't know. So this leads me to what now for the future generations of the United States. First off, will Pochettino return or not return? I'm all for a new cycle of a new man. I think he did what he needed to do for the United States. And remember, I'm someone who really loves Pochettino. I adore Pochettino to no end. But I think it gets to a point where, especially with international managers, especially if we're still trying to improve as a nation when it comes to soccer, I just want to move on for the benefit of both parties, where it doesn't become stale. I think Pochettino wants to go back into club football, even though the new contract is on the table. And who knows? Maybe I wake up tomorrow, this comes out, and Pochettino resigns until the 2030 cycle. I don't know. As for a lot of these players, I don't know when Nations League is, but I do think we have up next time. I think a lot of these guys have played their last like meaningful games for the United States, and I wouldn't personally call any of these guys up again until the March camps we have, and I think in September and November. I don't know if we still get the camp cupcake in January. Let's get some new guys in. I don't care if we lose. I want to see some new guys in. Let's expand the talent pool. Dude, like there's some like, and that's that. There's some guy like. Part of me wonders, and I heard some people saying it today. Do we move on from Pulisic? Because it was embarrassing from him. Like I said, the only people who could really hold their heads high today that worked their asses off: Balogun, Malik Tillman, Tyler Adams, and Weston McKennie. Alex Freeman played well as well. But I think leadership needs to be changed a bit. And I don't know if Pulisic is part of the future. I hope he is, and I hope he sorts his injuries out and it's kind of like the negative attitude when he gets punched in the mouth. But I don't know. But this video is going to be on the Frank Look At, as well as new channel that's going to be all soccer related. That I'll try and upload when I can, because I don't know how long I want to continue Frank Look At's for. But I could just upload to this channel whenever I want live streams. So I will be creating that channel now.